Get ready for a quick quest guide for the Contact quest, in which the main rewards for completing are 7,000 Thieving experience, a 7,000 experience combat lamp that can be used twice for 14,000 experience in total, the Keris dagger, access to Sophanem's bank and shops, and 1 quest point. You'll need to have completed the Icthlarin's Little Helper and Prince Ali rescue quests before taking on this one, and while there are technically no skill requirements, it is highly recommended to have both 50 agility and 50 thieving, which will make traversing the trap-filled dungeon much easier. On top of this, having 70 combat is recommended, with you needing to run past multiple high-level enemies and additionally defeat a level 191 giant Scarab that spawns multiple minions. Because of the combat involved, it's also highly helpful to have 43 prayer for access to protection prayers. When it comes to items, you'll need a light source and additionally a tinderbox to relight your light source should it be extinguished. If your light source can't be extinguished, for example if using Kandarin headgear, then you won't need a tinderbox. Then when it comes to recommended items, there's quite a lot that you'll need. This includes 2 filled waterskins to help with the desert heat. You'll also want a weapon and armor, as well as around 12 to 20 pieces of high healing food to both traverse the trap-filled dungeon twice and defeat the level 191 giant Scarab boss, who summons multiple minions that attack with different combat styles. You'll want a good amount of food with you at the quest start, but some can be banked which you can pick up mid-quest. For the boss fight, I would highly suggest using magic while using the protect from ranged prayer. Seeing as the Scarab boss has a 50% fire weakness, you'll want to be using your best fire spell, and having runes for around 150 casts of your best fire spell should more than do the trick. While a bit more difficult, melee and ranged are also viable with decent levels. I'd suggest a crossbow setup for ranged with at least 200 or so bolts, and if you're going for a melee setup, then I'd highly suggest having 43 prayer for protect from melee. I'd also suggest bringing along 1 anti-poison potion, 2 prayer potions, and optionally a potion to boost the combat style of your choice. Additionally, 1 stamina potion can help with all of the running around. When it comes to teleports, you'll want a charged amulet of glory, as well as 3 teleport methods for getting to Sophanem, and this includes 1 for getting to the quest start. The best option is a charged Pharaoh's Scepter that takes you directly to Sophanem. However, as this costs a few million and has to be charged in Sophanem itself, it's not the most accessible. The next best option, which I'll be using, would be to bring along 3 Nada teleport scrolls. These scrolls are currently around 50k each though, and so an alternative, highly affordable option with no hard requirements is to simply use magic carpet rides. If you're using magic carpet rides, then you'll need your glory to be fully charged and to also bring along 2k coins to cover all of the transportation costs. Note that with 20 construction, you can shorten this magic carpet ride trip by using a teleport to your house that you've located in Pollnivneach, or a Pollnivneach teleport that can be made by using a scroll of redirection from the Nightmare Zone on a house teleport. Finally, consider bringing along an emergency teleport. Now this quest officially begins in Sophanem, and we'll firstly cover getting there. The first option is to simply use a charged Pharaoh's Scepter to teleport to Jalsavra, which brings you straight to Sophanem. The next best option is to use a Nada teleport scroll before running southwest to the large rocks nearby to the tent where you started the Icthlarin's Little Helper quest. Select to enter the rock to be taken to Sophanem. The final option is carpet rides. Firstly, make your way to Pollnivneach either by using a house or Pollnivneach teleport, or by right-clicking on Shantae at the Shantae Pass south of Al-Kharid and selecting bypass before passing through the Shantae Pass south. Then just southeast, you'll want to select travel on the Rug Merchant before selecting Pollnivneach, which will see you pay 200 coins to take a leisurely carpet ride to northern Pollnivneach. After arriving in northern Pollnivneach, simply run to the south of the desert city, whereby you'll find another Rug Merchant. Select travel on him and this time choose to travel to Sophanem to pay 200 coins to take another leisurely carpet ride there. After arriving in Sophanem, head into the chapel alongside the river to the southwest of the desert city. To start, talk to the high priest inside and go through the dialogue with him before then selecting yes to officially begin the quest. Then go through a tad more chatter before a cutscene takes place whereby the people of Menaphos are douchebags. After the cutscene ends, continue the dialogue for a little while before asking, "Is there any way into Menaphos from below?" before going through the rest of the chat whereby you learn of some potential underground tunnels. When the chat ends, exit out of the church and then run northeast to the most northeastern building within Sophanem. Nearby to its entrance will be a man named Jex. Talk to Jex, and after a long chat with him, some chat options will appear, and you can then just click off from the chat. Afterwards, run a little east to the trapdoor and select to climb down the ladder. Once you're down, ensure that you have your light source and your tinderbox on you if your light source can be extinguished. Note that in this dungeon your light source can randomly go out and your screen go dark. And if this happens, simply use your tinderbox on your light source to relight it. I would also highly suggest turning off auto retaliate now too before going down to make navigating the dungeon a lot smoother. And as a final note, try to keep your health above 25 hit points at all times. Now select to climb down the trapdoor just east of the ladder that you went down and then select proceed, before continuing through a long chat whereby you're warned of many of the traps in the dungeon. Now this dungeon's pretty dangerous, so we're going to traverse it slowly as being reckless can lead to death. First go south, then a little west, and when you see a large pillar or central wall to your northwest, take the north and then west path around it to avoid the trap. Then pop on Protect from Magic and run past the Scarab Mage west before going a tad south. Then to your east will be a path with a floor trap. Right click on it and select to evade the trap, which will see you try to cross it. Note that should you fail, you'll take some damage here. Following this, use your minimap to run east, which will see you automatically path through the wall crusher traps. Be careful when you turn south though, as there's another trap. Right click and select to disable the trap to try and pass it, though note that you can fail and take some damage here. After making it through, follow the path as it loops west and a tad north, but before going further west, look on the ground for a weird looking sandpit on the floor. Don't step on that tile or else a swarm will spawn and attack you. Now pop on Protect from Magic and go west past the floor sand trap and then continue north and then west until you hit a wall before going south. At the fork, turn east, but then be very careful. There will be a Scarab on the wall when you turn to go south. Do not under any circumstance stand on the tile underneath this Scarab, or else you'll be dropped into multi-combat below with heaps of high level enemies, and this can very quickly lead to death. If you do fall, then I would teleport out right away. Avoid the tile below the Scarab and continue south, and then a tad east will be a wall trap. Select to disable this trap to attempt to pass it, taking some damage should you fail. Following this, pop on Protect from Magic and go east, then a tad south before taking the first path west until you see some wall crusher traps leading south. Use the minimap to automatically path south through the crusher trap, and afterwards go a tad west and then locate a ladder directly west of you. As soon as you can see the ladder, right click it and select to climb down it, which will see you path towards it and automatically avoid the dangerous Scarab traps on the southern wall. Once you're down, follow the path as it heads west and then curves around and heads northeast and a bit further north before it then continues west. You should then see a body on the floor. Search the body to obtain some parchment and afterwards read the parchment before closing it. Following this, continue west whereby you'll see a huge chasm in the ground and a woman named Mesa standing on the other side of it. Talk to Mesa and go through a long chat whereby you learn that there isn't a way into Menaphos, but that there is a way out. When chat options appear, firstly answer with Draenor Village and afterwards select Leela before finishing off the chat. Next, use your Amulet of Glory to teleport to Al Kharid before running a little north to Osman just outside of the palace. Talk to Osman and start by saying, "I want to talk to you about Sophanem." And after a long chat where Osman is less than helpful, say, "It could drive a wedge between the Menaphite cities." And then finish off the chat whereby you'll have convinced him to assist you. Next, head southwest into the bank and simply grab a few extra pieces of food if needed, both for traversing the trap-filled dungeon again and for the final boss fight. And afterwards, it's time to head back to Sophanem using your method of choice. I'll be using a Nada teleport before running southwest and then selecting enter on the large rock nearby the tent where the Icthlarin's little helper quest began to wind up in Sophanem. If you're using other methods and you need a refresher, then I'll pop some timestamps on screen now. After arriving in or at Sophanem, head to Osman, who will be hanging out just north of the Sophanem entry gates. Talk to him and go through a rather long chat with him that leads into a small cutscene of Osman sneaking into Sophanem. After the cutscene ends, head south into Sophanem before running east back to the trapdoor before climbing down it. And now yes, it's time to traverse the trap-filled dungeon once again. Climb down the trapdoor to your east, selecting to proceed, and just like before, we're going to traverse this dangerous area slowly. First go south, then a little west, and when you see a large pillar or central wall to your northwest, take the north and then west path around it to avoid the traps. Then pop on Protect from Magic and run past the Scarab Mage west before going a tad south. Then to your east will be a path with a floor trap. Right click on it and select to evade the trap, which will see you try to cross it, taking some damage should you fail. Following this, use your minimap to run east, which will see you automatically pass through the wall crusher traps. Be careful when you turn south though, as there's another trap. Right click and select to disable the trap to try and pass it, taking some damage should you fail. After making it through, follow the path as it loops west and a tad north. Now pop on Protect from Magic and go west past the floor sand trap and then continue north and then west until you hit a wall before going south. At the fork, turn east, but then be very careful of the Scarab wall trap before going south. Again, do not under any circumstance stand on the tile underneath the Scarab, and avoiding this tile, continue south. Then a tad east will be a wall trap. Select to disable this trap to attempt to pass it, taking some damage should you fail. Following this, pop on Protect from Magic and go east, then a tad south before taking the first path west until you see some wall crusher traps leading south. Use the minimap to automatically path south through the crusher trap, and afterwards go a tad west and then locate the ladder directly west of you. As soon as you can see the ladder, right click it and select to climb down it, which will see you path towards it and automatically avoid the dangerous Scarab traps on the southern wall. Do not spacebar through the cutscene that instantly takes place where Osman talks to Mesa, as once this ends, the boss fight will instantly begin, and I'd suggest watching ahead in the guide now so that you know what to do for the boss fight. As soon as the cutscene ends, provided you're using ranged or magic, pop on Protect from Ranged and run east and around the corner, which will see the Scarab path to you and get stuck on the wall and only attack you with ranged. If you're using melee, then attack the Scarab at melee distance while praying Protect from melee. Attack and continue attacking the Scarab. This Scarab can summon minions which have relatively low health. I'd recommend killing the Scarab mages which attack with magic, but tanking the riders that attack with melee and ranged. Positioning yourself so the riders attack with only ranged if possible, which your prayer will block. If using melee, it's a bit more worth killing all of the minions, swapping to using Protect from ranged if you're not in melee distance of the giant Scarab. Though if you're close to defeating the boss, it's probably best to just finish it off. Finally, know that the Scarab can poison you even through poison immunity from potions. So while you can drink a potion after being poisoned to cure yourself, it's probably best just waiting until the fight is finished to cure your poison for good. After you defeat the giant Scarab, you'll go through some dialogue with Osman that you'll want to spacebar through. And once Osman leaves the cave, simply grab the Keris that's fallen onto the ground. Now optionally, if you want to kill a Locust Rider with a Keris to complete a hard desert diary task, then you can run east and then south through the rather long winding path back to the ladder before climbing it to reach the trap-filled dungeon. Afterwards, use the minimap to run east, avoiding the Scarab traps, and at the fork in the path go south, whereby you'll find a Locust Rider to your east. Kill this Locust Rider with a Keris to complete a hard desert diary task, and afterwards all you need to do is use your method of choice to return to Sophanem. I'll be using a Nada teleport before running southwest and then selecting enter on the large rock nearby the tent where the Icthlarin's little helper quest began to wind up in Sophanem. If you're using other methods and you need a refresher, then I'll pop some timestamps on screen now. After arriving back in Sophanem, head to the chapel alongside the river to the southwest of the desert city where the High Priest hangs out. Talk to the High Priest and after a little dialogue, bam, quest complete. You'll be awarded 7,000 thieving experience, a 7,000 experience combat lamp that can be used twice for 14,000 experience in total, the Keris dagger, access to Sophanem's bank and shops, as well as 1 quest point. Thanks so much for watching, catch you in the next quest!